Andrei Chicatillo, infamously known as the Butcher of Rostov, was a Soviet serial killer who terrorized Russia during the 1980s. Born in 1936, Chicatillo's childhood was plagued by famine and abuse, setting a grim foundation for his future. His sinister spree began in 1978 when he lured a 9-year-old girl into a secluded area, brutally murdering her. Over the next 12 years, Chicatillo's reign of terror saw the gruesome deaths of at least 52 women and children. His modus operandi involved luring victims to isolated locations where he would assault and mutilate them in a horrific frenzy. Despite numerous arrests and the wrongful conviction of innocent men, Chicatillo remained elusive due to the Soviet Union's reluctance to acknowledge a serial killer within its borders. The breakthrough came in 1990 when a dedicated task force finally apprehended him. Chicatillo confessed to the murders in chilling detail, leading to his conviction in 1992. His trial was a spectacle, with Chicatillo often disrupting proceedings. He was sentenced to death and executed in 1994. Chicatillo's gruesome legacy remains a haunting reminder of the darkest depths of human depravity.
Stupid ways that serial killers have gotten caught. Part 11. This is The Butcher of Rostov, Andrei Chicatillo. Chicatillo is a Russian serial killer who began killing in 1978 and was not caught until 1990. He was charged with 52 murders, but it's believed he did about 56. He was known for being particularly gruesome and mutilating his victims. During his 12-year reign of terror, the Soviet police actually didn't warn anybody, and it's believed that he got away with so many killings because they didn't tell people to be more scared. But what they did do is start putting undercover agents at train stations where he was known to meet his victims. So it's November 19th, 1990, and a policeman is trolling the station when he sees Andrei walk out of the woods covered in blood. He has blood on his cheeks, blood on his hands. He talks to him, files a police report, but because there's no body, he can't do anything. But then the next day, they find the little girl. After interrogation, he said, "I was like a crazed wolf. I just turned into a beast. I'm a wild animal."
Welcome back to our channel. Today we delve into the chilling story of Andrei Chicatillo, one of history's most notorious serial killers, known as the Butcher of Rostov. As we unravel this tale, we'll explore not just the darkness of his deeds, but the broader implications on society, psychology, and the justice system. So grab a seat and let's immerse ourselves in this haunting narrative.
Born on October 16, 1936, in the small village of Yabloknoye, Russia, Andrei Chicatillo faced a challenging childhood. Growing up during the harsh realities of post-war Soviet Union, he experienced struggles that would haunt him well into adulthood. As a child, he was taunted for being a stutterer and faced bullying that ignited an internal rage. Interestingly, it's said that early experiences can shape criminal behaviors later in life. Chicatillo, who would eventually claim the lives of 53 people from 1978 to 1990, exhibited troubling behavior long before he became a monster. In his teenage years, he struggled to forge meaningful connections, leading him to a life of isolation.
By the late 1970s, Chicatillo was married with children, living a seemingly normal life. Yet beneath the facade lurked a deeply disturbed individual. The first known victim was a 9-year-old girl named Yelena Zaitseva, lured into his trap. This was the spark that ignited a brutal spree. What's perplexing is how Chicatillo managed to maintain a double life, balancing his mundane existence with the horrific acts he committed. How did someone so deeply flawed manage to evade capture for over a decade? This speaks volumes about the failures within the Soviet justice system at the time, which grappled with the modern understanding of criminal psychology.
As we dissect the enigma that was Chicatillo, we cannot ignore the psychological elements at play. Experts suggest that his compulsions stem from a traumatic upbringing coupled with sexual repression. Chicatillo's demeanor during interrogations was chilling. He appeared almost childlike, expressing regret yet demonstrating a complete lack of empathy for his victims. One of the most haunting aspects of his psyche was the ritualistic nature of his crimes. Many times he would relive the pain he felt as a child, projecting it onto his innocent victims, which makes us wonder, can understanding these motives help prevent future atrocities?
After years of terror, Chicatillo was finally apprehended in 1990. His capture was a pivotal moment in criminal history, not just due to his horrendous acts, but the investigation methods that led to his downfall. During his trial, which unfolded like a macabre spectacle, Chicatillo displayed contradictory emotions, at times charming, and at other times incredibly sinister. In 1992, Chicatillo was found guilty and sentenced to death. This case not only sent shockwaves across the nation, but also forced the Russian authorities to rethink their investigative techniques and highlight the urgent need for psychological analysis in criminal investigations.
Chicatillo's story serves as a cautionary tale, an exploration of how societal neglect can breed monstrous behaviors. As we reflect on the lives tragically lost, we must ask ourselves, what can we learn from this? Prevention and early intervention are critical in addressing such disturbing patterns. For viewers, Chicatillo's life raises profound questions about human nature, the shadowy corners of the psyche, and the importance of community vigilance. Let us use this story not just to recount horror, but to advocate for a safer society.
Thank you for joining us on this journey through history's darkest moments. If this story stirred something within you, please hit that like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think can be done to prevent such tragic tales? Let's keep this conversation alive. Until next time, take care.
I am Andri Chicatillo, a Soviet serial killer known as the Butcher of Rostov, the Rostov Ripper, and the Red Ripper. I committed horrifying acts, sexually assaulting, murdering, and mutilating at least 52 women and children between 1978 and 1990 across the Russian SFSR, the Ukrainian SSR, and the Uzbek SSR. I gained the monikers Rostov Ripper and Butcher of Rostov due to the majority of my gruesome murders taking place in the Rostov Oblast of the Russian SFSR. Following the first 4 murders, an investigation ensued, leading to my eventual arrest in 1984. 2 detectives closely observed me, and I was taken into custody. However, the DNA results at the time were inconclusive, resulting in theft charges related to my former employment. This led to a brief 1-year prison sentence, of which I served merely 3 months before being released. But my freedom was short-lived. Over the subsequent years, more victims came to light, prompting the police to launch another investigation and set up a trap in 1988, employing various surveillance operations. Following my final murder, I found myself arrested once again in 1990. This time, the DNA evidence left no room for doubt. I was indeed the killer they had been relentlessly pursuing. I admitted to a total of 56 murders and faced trial for 53 of them in April 1992. Eventually, I was found guilty and received a death sentence for 52 of these heinous acts in October 1992. However, in 1993, the Supreme Court of Russia declared insufficient evidence to establish my guilt in 9 of the killings. Ultimately, my life met its end by a gunshot execution in February 1994.